Hello everyone, I'm Sakshi and I welcome all of you to my podcast channel. Today I'm really excited as this is our first ever episode on our podcast channel. Today's episode is completely based on education and career. Today's episode is really going to be helpful for all the students, teachers and parents as well. So why I have chosen this topic is because I have heard so many common perspectives when it comes to education, when it comes to students' career, and etc. But in that, I've also heard some unique perspectives which is related to education and career from someone who is our guest on my podcast channel. And he's none other than Dr. RANIT Kishore, Director of IOMR MGM University. So, hello sir, how are you?
Hello, Sakshi. Thank you so much. I'm good.
Nice sir. So, I'm really excited for this episode today.
I am also very, very excited, and being the director of the institute and a little, above your age, I would give my blessings and my best wishes
Yes.
that your podcast, it catches new heights, and
Yeah.
I, being the first person you have invited to,
Yes.
I am a little bit nervous also and a little bit confused also that what would be my perspective towards the questions which you would be asking.
Yeah.
So my best wishes and my lot of blessings for a successful, podcast channel in future.
Thank you so much, sir.
Pleasure.
So to start off, sir, there's some basic question which would give us an idea about your journey, about who you are. So my question for you is that tell us about your journey. Like what inspired you in choosing a career in education? And also one additional question in that is that when did you realize that this is something which I want to do? Like you were confirm about it. So please, sir.
Okay, Sakshi, it all, I must say that it all started when I was maybe in my ninth standard, eighth or
Okay.
ninth standard. My just let go a little bit to my background. My mother is a teacher, was a
Oh,
teacher. Now she
okay.
is retired, and she used to teach in a primary school.
Hmm.
So she used to get some tuitions also, where
Okay.
we got students from maybe LKG or first or second standard, basic mathematics,
Yeah.
basic English. So
Yeah.
I used to solve their basic mathematical problems, and when I was in eighth or ninth standard, so it started from there. I
Okay.
used to enjoy that job. I used to feel very, very relaxed when I was with the kids. 4 5 kids, just sitting around me, and
Yeah.
I was singing ABCD with them. So it started from there. But
Okay.
at that point of time, I never had an idea that I would be landing up into
Yeah.
education industry. So when I was doing my graduation at that time, I also used to take a lot of tuitions just to
Okay.
earn my pocket.
Okay.
That was
Okay.
that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
something. So students of sixth standard, seventh standard, basic math, science. So I used to take that. But that was only to earn some monetary benefit. Nothing as of introduced as a that I might become a teacher or something
Okay.
like that. One of my friend, when I was in graduation, so one of my friend opened up a management training institute.
Okay.
So he called me up that you come to my institute. It was in Dehradun basically. So you come to my institute and tell something about personality development. I asked him when is the session. So he said that after around 20 25 days, he gave me a date that on this Sunday, you come to my institute and there would be a gathering of around 25 30 students, and you need to speak about personality development.
Okay.
You won't believe, Sakshi, that I couldn't sleep for next 10 15 days because I
Okay.
was that time we didn't had the internet or any facility,
Of course.
so
Yeah.
Windows 95 was the system which we were using. So basic PowerPoint, basics of Word. I consulted a lot of books. I went to the library.
Yeah.
What needs to be done? How you can groom the personality? And on the day I delivered a lecture, and the
Okay.
lecture was actually good.
Okay.
How you come to know that the lecture is good when the students come to you after the session and they ask you questions. That means whatever you want to deliver has been well taken by the students.
Okay. So you were nervous at that time?
I was very, very nervous. My voice was shaking, my legs were shaking, and that was the first time when I delivered an open lecture to, a gathering of 30 people.
True.
And when I'm talking about 30 students, that means 60 eyes are constantly watching you.
Yes.
And I was almost of the same age group. I was in graduation third year, almost of the same age group.
Yeah.
So to build up that trust that whatever I am saying is correct for you, that because most of them might have taken my words as a career advice.
Of course,
so that was the initiation of me taking a class and entering into education industry. Then a long career of 5-7 years in New Delhi, working on various platforms, various industries. Then came down to my hometown. Then finally I landed up into education institute.
Okay.
And this is again a very, very funny story. If you allow me, I would like
sir,
to
of
share.
Of course.
I joined one of the insurance industries when I landed back to my hometown.
Okay.
So I went to a college. It is a university now, a good known university.
Okay.
So I went to a college and one of my friend was there.
Okay.
So that friend was supposed to be the dumbest of all the friends which we had.
Okay.
So the only thing which came into my mind, if he can, why can't I?
Exactly.
I immediately sent my resume to the HR, and the interview was conducted. And it was I think 2007. 2007 I started my education journey, and since then it's all history.
Okay. And also I've seen nowadays that people who do jobs somewhere, they usually don't like it. Like whenever we ask them anything, they're just like, okay, they just want to do for salary's sake or something like that. So my question for you is that, do you love your job?
Presently, yes, I do.
Okay.
At present, I love my job. I don't give a second thought in the morning that I have to go to the office.
Exactly.
But when I started my job, I was under the same, influence. So I keep on jumping. If an organization was giving me a jump of 1,500 rupees, that was too much, and back in 2001.
Yes.
So I used to jump. So, love and care for one job was actually missing. But yes, after an experience of almost 20-24 years, at this point of time, I love my job. I love whatever I do. I do with 100% proficiency, and that is something which I expect from my peers also, from my students also, from my colleagues. So this comes with the experience. Initially, this that if you say that if you join a job as of now, and you can give your 100%, that would be not possible.
Exactly.
So it will take some time.
Okay.
So that's my take on this.
Okay, sir. So, sir, the second question for you is that, what difference do you find in education, like which was back then when you started, and what it's now?
Education as in when I started teaching, or
no,
education?
Like your education system. Like were there some things which you find were very good at that time, which you don't find it now, and or some things which you find that at that time that technology wasn't there, as we say, but today it's there. So what do you feel like, what changes you can do in our education system which you find which one should do?
See now, Sakshi, these are three questions which you asked me.
Yeah.
Right? Changing the education system would not be possible because I am not, in that capacity to change the education system. But if you talk about the differences which I find when I was studying, and at this time when I am, responsible for the students to make study, the difference is that we used to respect our teachers a lot.
Okay.
Right. I'm not saying that the students today are not respecting the teachers, but somehow the parents are responsible.
Yeah.
We will come to that maybe in a later stage of today's podcast. But if we talk about my educations, when I started my education, 35 years back, at that time we used to love our teachers. We used to respect teachers like anything. Right, and whatever teachers said was like a patthar ki lakeer. We cannot deviate from that. So education system hasn't changed. The CBSE pattern, the CBSE curriculum, the CBSE syllabus has not changed. Any
Okay.
of the syllabuses, any of the curriculum, it's as it is, which it was 30-35 years. Obviously some changes are there, some additions are there in the
Yeah.
syllabus. That is need of the hour. But if
Hmm.
you talk about the system was intact 30-35 years back, and the system is still intact. Yes,
Hmm.
technology is playing a very, very
Very.
major role. Teachers today want to teach, but the thing is that student has the excess of everything what the teacher has.
Content.
So it is very important that the teacher should have that capability, that understanding, that what the students wants from them.
Okay.
So if the teacher is able to deliver the right content, the
Hmm.
teacher would be successful, and I'm 100% sure the students, the entire batch will be successful.
Okay.
So that's the only change which, and if you talk about making changes to the education system,
Yeah.
so the education system has been very, very robust if we talk in context of
Hmm.
India.
Hmm.
So India has produced some of the great leaders,
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
if you talk about some of the, great organizations, the
Yeah.
top-notch positions
Yes.
are held by Indian
Indian
people.
people.
So education system is not bad. It's
Okay.
one of the toughest. If we talk about the IIMs or IITs, it's the selection percentage is still 2 to 3%.
Yes. Yes.
So that is the kind of education system which we are in.
Yeah.
But the people who are dealing with that education system, they might have to change their mindset a
Hmm.
little bit, so that their words, their advices are understood by the students.
Yeah.
And that's the only change which is required.
And do you feel like the fear was one of the factor earlier, like when students used to, you're saying that they used to respect teachers out there and everything. So do you feel that that fear factor is missing in nowadays?
I wouldn't call it fair, but yes, it was fair. I'll
Yeah.
tell you one example.
Yeah, sir.
When I
Please.
was studying in my, I think, seventh or eighth standard or ninth standard, maybe I don't exactly remember, but I was studying in some in some eighth ninth standard.
Okay.
So we used to have a staff room. It was a collection of 4-5 rooms
Yeah.
in which teachers used to sit, and that was in middle of our exit and the classrooms.
Oh.
So if you have to exit the school, you have to pass from the
From the
staff outside of the
Yeah.
staff room. And we were really, really scared to cross that 100 meters.
Yeah.
That was like a Lakshman Rekha, that we cannot cross that, because that was the kind of fear, that was the kind of respect.
Yes.
Teachers were busy, there were doors, there were curtains, we knew that teachers won't see us.
Yeah.
But there was always a fear that agar teacher ne dekh liya, then what will happen?
Yeah.
I'll tell you one more example. Lunch time pe, there was a lunch time for teachers, 12 to 1 or 1 to 2. We dared to enter that room? Never. Never. And in my 20-25 years of career, I've seen lots of students. I'm having my lunch. Students knock, sir, can I have your signature? I said, come after 5 minutes. And the student in return says me, sir, it'll take just a minute.
Yeah.
So we cannot say it a fair. That respect is losing somewhere.
Respect is losing.
You should respect the time of the person. It's not about teacher, it's about everyone.
Yeah,
If you respect the time of the person who is waiting for you, you will be a successful person.
Yes, for sure. So my next question is, sir, that in your opinion, how can schools or colleges prepare students for real world challenges? Like, I feel like decision making is something which is very important in life, right? But I've never seen someone talking about it in schools or colleges, but that's the most important thing, because in our daily lives, each and every minute thing needs us to make decisions. So what do you feel that what are some things which should be taught in schools or colleges or institutes to students?
See, Sakshi, decision making cannot be taught.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's the place where we are lacking behind maybe the London Business School or Harvard Business School, or top notch, the top 4-5 cream categories across the globe. So what is the difference between their teaching pedagogy and ours is that they are more into practical approach.
Yeah, that's what.
They leave their students in the open market. They give them projects. They give them certain things to be done in the open market.
Yeah.
And there the students takes the decision.
Yeah.
The decision would be completely students.
Yeah.
If you do an activity and you leave everything on the students, I can 100% vouch on that the activity would be 100% success.
Yes.
And that is what see, I as an administrator, I as a director, I feel that management education should be a ratio of 60-40. 60% should be practical work and 40%
40%.
theory.
Yeah.
So your theory you will do. The teachers are capable enough that during the classroom teaching they would be able to deliver what is written in the books. But what is
Yeah.
not written in the books, that has to be taken as a practical exposure to the students.
Yeah.
Leave them, throw them into the open market.
Yeah.
They will swim, they will come out. They
Yeah.
are very, very talented. Every student has his or her own talent.
Yes.
Some are maybe good in marketing, some are good
Yes.
in finance, some are good in human resource. And when I'm talking about these three parameters, I'm talking about a global perspective.
Yeah.
When it comes to dealing with finance, it can be managing your daily finances or managing a finance for a bigger picture.
Yeah.
When it comes to marketing, it may be a marketing of your own, or it can be a marketing of your organization.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to trust. First thing, you have to trust your students. You have to trust that they will be able to do it, and I'm 100% sure that they will do it.
Okay.
So that one thing is which is missing in most of the business schools.
Yes. And so, what are some other things which you would like to tell, which are necessary to, teach to students so that it can also help in their real world challenges? Like one which we saw, decision making was one. What other do you think that it could be taught to students so that it would be helpful for them in their real life?
See, the thing is that if we talk about today's context or the changing technology,
Yeah.
so we have to be upright with the market.
Yeah.
You have to keep abreast with the market that whatever the recent challenges or the recent trends which are going in the market should be well understood by these students.
Yes.
And that is only possible when these students are into that scenario.
Yeah.
And that scenario you have to create. Because every time you cannot throw these students into the open river.
True.
It is not possible. But you can create a simulation for that market.
Yeah.
So if you arrange a couple of activities, maybe some activities like a kind of fair. Schools may, if you remember, we used to have fate,
Yeah.
right, in
Yeah,
which
yeah, yeah.
everything was being organized by these students. So students एक booklet लेके जाता था, 10 रुपए का ticket he used to sell to these
Yes, yes.
to various. तो वो एक उसके अंदर automatically leadership skills पैदा
Build
होती
होता
थी.
है. True.
So that inculcation of the spirit is very, very important. So until and unless that practical exposure is given with 100% trust,
Yeah.
the student won't grow up.
True.
Kitabi knowledge is very, very easy to get, right?
Yes.
You can there are hundreds of books available. There are hundreds and millions of websites which are easily available on internet. Aajkal to we are going into the era of chat GPT where you can summarize the entire book into one paragraph. Usko
Exactly.
padhi and the entire bookish knowledge is there.
Yeah, true.
But there are hundreds of things which needs to be unlearned when you enter into the practical market. That is very, very important.
Yeah.
And that can only be done if you get a lot of practical exposure.
True.
Through simulations, through simulation. Abhi jaise most of the top business schools are going into simulation based learning.
Yeah.
So simulation, business simulation ke games aate hain. Association of Indian Management Standard ke hisab se bhi there is CSIM which is available. A couple of more options are there. So if the students participate, they tend to get what exactly is going in an organization.
True.
And that kind of exposure is actually needed.
Yes, I feel like that also. Yeah. So talking about students, nowadays, I feel students really get confused when it comes to choosing their career paths, right? And so my question for you is that how can students explore their interests and strengths to clarify their career choices?
There should be a small correction in the question.
Yeah.
The word nowadays, right? Because the students had a confusion always.
Yeah.
When I was a student, I'm so sorry. When I was a student, I had the same kind of confusion. What should I do?
Yes.
Where should I land up? Should I go to industry? Should I go to education? Should I start up my own business? Should I do something which is related to startups? Us samay pe the options were very limited. The information was very, very limited. The
Yeah.
only source of information which we had was our teachers.
Yeah.
The only source of information was my father or my mother,
Yes.
my friends,
Yeah.
my seniors who have been working. So that confusion is always there. So you need to understand what are you good at.
Okay.
And there the role of teachers come into picture.
Yeah.
Your teacher knows you more than you.
Yes.
A teacher understands because he has been evaluating your abhi to after the implementation of new education policy, a teacher tends to evaluate his or her students almost 4 times during a period of 3 months. So every month on an average there is one evaluation.
Yes.
So you are evaluating the student on various parameters, not only just writing,
Yes.
not only just reading skills, but various parameters. So you understand what your student is capable of.
Yeah.
Sit with your student. There is a concept of mentoring.
Yeah.
There is a concept of faculty mentors, where a faculty is assigned to maybe 20-30 students,
Yeah.
and these 30 students are like babies to that teacher. And any kind of problem, be it professional or personal, it has to be shared between the mentor and the students.
Yeah.
So that is the time when you can actually talk to your teacher, and your teacher would be the best person to suggest you that what career suits you the best. That is one. Second thing, do what you are good at. Or I think Three Idiots is one movie which everybody has seen.
Yeah, true.
And that movie has clearly depicted that what your interest is and what you land up in. So do what you are best at.
Yeah.
Try, you might have to try a couple of options at the starting of your career. Don't break down.
Yeah.
There may be something which is really made for you. ऐसा नहीं है कि if you fail in one industry you will fail in the second one also, and if you fail in second one you will drastically fail in the third one. Right? If you have 3 failures with you, you are a successful person.
Yeah.
At least you have tried.
Yes.
So that trying constantly is what that matters a lot.
Yeah, true.
So you need to understand, first of all, listen to your teachers, listen to your seniors, and listen to your heart.
Yes.
What you are best at.
Yes, true. So talking about teaching, I feel like, as you said, that teacher plays a very important role in shaping a student's career. So what qualities a teacher should have in order to make teaching effective?
Now that's a very that's a very dangerous question because I belong to teaching fraternity, and I'm sure when this this podcast would be live, everybody would be after me.
But what do you feel like normal qualities which one should have?
See, Sakshi, there are no set qualities of a teacher. First thing, the first thing, he should be presentable.
Yeah.
Right? Presentable as in when he is talking to the students, that personality, that charisma, that aura should be delivered without speaking.
Yeah.
And he should be a good orator, first of all, English, Hindi, Marathi, whatever language you are comfortable in. He should be a good orator. And when I'm speaking about orator, that means whatever you are speaking should be clearly understood by the audience.
Yeah.
I have seen, in my career of 20-25 years, almost touching 3 decades now. So I have seen people with some of the exceptional academic records, and when they enter into teaching, they are big failures.
Yeah.
And I have seen people who have, not so good, who have been not so good in the academics. They have, they have been very good teachers.
Yeah.
As a teacher, students like them, their results are wonderful. Their peers like them, their students love them like anything.
Yeah.
So there is no set definition for a teacher. पहली तो चीज़ ये कि you should have a zeal of teaching. You don't take it as a job. Teaching is not a job. It is a profession. It is a noble profession.
Yeah.
If you are teaching somebody, whatever you have, you are trying to share it with these students. It's a delivery of service.
Yeah.
Obviously, the salary is always there.
Yes.
But a teacher never works for a salary. And a teacher always works if I am a teacher. I still am a teacher, and I make it a point that no matter how busy I am, I always keep one subject so that I am in touch with these students.
Yeah,
So
true.
whenever my class goes good, there is a different kind of feeling which comes in.
Yeah.
So if I can easily make up by the faces of these students that today's class was good.
Yeah.
They ask me questions. They it depicts on their faces
Yeah.
that the classes are going good.
Yes.
So there is no set parameter. There is no set definition. If you are a teacher, you are born with certain talents,
Yeah.
and that you have to showcase.
Only that dedication or admiration towards your profession is needed.
Yes, that is needed.
Okay, so perfect. So my next question is that when we talk about teachers playing a role in a students or in their anything like in their career, so vice versa, there is also a parent's role which is highly important in a student's career. And I have seen so many things in my life, talking about my friends or maybe other classmates in my class whose parents have a negative impact on their career. Maybe then sometimes it's like, oh, I didn't do that or I didn't choose that because my parents weren't allowing me to do that. So my question is that how does parents negatively impact their child's career?
That's a very tricky question, actually. See, no parents want that they give a negative impact towards their kids' career, but sometimes knowingly or unknowingly this thing happens. It usually happens in the cases when the parents maybe try to force something on the students, and it can happen when there is not a very cordial relationship between a husband and a wife, and that is being depicted in the daily house course. So that might create a negative impact on the students. And whenever there is a negative impact on the students, so it is depicted on their day-to-day life, it is depicted on their careers.
Everything.
They are unable to process things. Their mind stops. Their personality does not develop. There are hundreds of cases psychologically proven where maybe the father or the mother have something like separation or divorce. Their students don't rise very high in life. There are a number of cases. Exceptions are obviously always there. But yes, parents का एक अच्छा relationship with their students and amongst themselves impact a lot on the career of the students. Second thing, I must say that parents are the first teachers. So whatever my mother has taught me, whatever my father has taught me, that is going to remain with me forever. So as a parent, I always try to be very positive with my students, with my kids. As a father, if I'm talking about, I'm very positive with my kids. I never blame them of anything. I never force them with anything. My two kids are very average kids. They are not above average or below. They are average, and I'm happy with their performances. They are doing okay in life, right? And that is the kind of attitude. If I know this is a competitive world, and every parent want that their student should be ahead of the student of Sharma ji or Verma ji. So that Sharma Verma wala comparison, if not there, then I'm 100% sure that the student will do something in life. Don't force. A student is, every identity is different. Every student, every mind is different from other. Then how can you compare your kid with Sharma ji or Verma ji?
Exactly.
So that is something which should not be there. Comparison is a strict no. Never compare your kid's potentials with the potentials of any Tom, Dick and Harry. No. Your kids has certain talents which he or she is born with. Try to understand those talents and try to inculcate them. You might be if he loves driving, he can be tomorrow's Schumacher. Right? If he's very good as thinking analytically, he can be tomorrow's Vishwanathan Anand. So every kid is born with a specific talent. Understand that talent and try to inculcate that.
So that perspective change is very important.
That is needed. Yes.
Yeah, because what happens is that when parents set that comparison factor in between, then that relation also get affected.
Correct.
Like a
Correct.
child and parents
Yes,
relationship,
yes.
right? So even like I have seen so many students, and I've talked with so many people. So many of them have this common thing that, oh, my parents won't understand this, they won't support me.
Yeah.
And actually, so at the end of the day, one thing which is highly important for them is their parents' support.
Correct.
Because
Correct.
I truly believe that if parents support their child, there is like the child is unstoppable.
Right.
He doesn't need anything.
That is the thing which is needed, that
Yeah.
support and trust.
Yeah.
Believe in your student's talent.
Yeah,
And he
true.
will definitely, rise to new heights.
Yes. So seeing this, I can assume that your parents were really supportive
They were
towards
very,
you.
very supportive. Yeah, they are still very supportive.
Yeah.
They are, though they are growing very, very old now, but at this age also they are very, very supportive.
So my last question.
Yes, please.
So my last question for you is that only, which I like to add. How were your parents when it came to your education and your career? Like how supportive they were? That's why I interrupted. Yeah.
See, I told you that my mother was a teacher.
Yeah.
My father was again a government servant. He was a scientist in central lab. So they knew about the education. But they never forced any education on me. I said that I want to do commerce. They never asked me why, when, how. Okay, take commerce, not a problem. I said I would like to pursue graduation as BCom. They said, fine, do BCom. I said I want to do MBA. They said, okay, do MBA. Luckily, MBA ke baad I got a job and I was into jobs, and then I shifted my career. They never stopped me. I am almost 1800 kilometers from my home. They never stopped me. This is very tough. This was a very tough decision, that leaving your parents at this age, and you are almost, how many, say 24 hours away from your parent. So God forbid, if any kind of emergency situation occurs, I cannot reach my hometown before 24 hours. Even if I take flights across, then also it will take me 10 hours to reach to my place. So that was a tough decision. By me, my parents always supported me. They always backed up me, that okay, if it's a good decision, if it's a good for your career, go ahead. So that kind of support, if a student is getting from the parents, if a kid is getting, I am 100% sure that the kid will definitely do something
like he
marvelous.
or she is unstoppable.
Absolutely, absolutely. See, it you can easily make out by the the charisma of the student or a kid, that how supportive their parents are.
Yeah, true.
Easily आपको दिख जाता है. You can see by the face. If the parents are not supportive, the the aura would be negative. You can easily make out.
You can feel that.
So that support, that trust was always there with me, and same thing I deliver to my kids. And I request all the parents that please trust your kids. Please have a trust on them. They are born with some or the other talent. They will do something in life, surely. So that is the kind of changes, if you inculcate even 10 to 20% in every parent, India would be a wonderful country. It is a wonderful country, and
it is.
I am sure that if everybody thinks the way a couple of people think, the results would be very, very green.
It would be very much like this is something which is actually needed, I feel because students have a lot of potential in them, but just due to some of the factors, they are not able to open up, or some of the things they are not able to actually create, like whatever potential they have, they are not able to do it.
Absolutely.
Because of some factors.
That is because of the the loss of trust. उनको लगता है कि if they do it, they will do it wrong. Even if they are doing it wrong, trust them. Tell them you have experience. Tell them that this is the wrong way, bacha, and this is the right way to do it. The kid will definitely understand.
And he won't have that fear of failure then. And he'll always take it as that, okay, if I'm failing in this, it doesn't matter. I'm learning from it, right?
That is very important thing, that learning thing.
So to conclude this session, sir, the last question I promise. So it's like, what advice you would like to give to students, to teachers, and parents as well? Like one advice for each one of them.
Advice in what context?
Anything, general thing, which you feel like it's important.
There would be hundreds of advices. Maybe if we start with parents, trust your kids. Trust the people around you. To the kids, parents,
Yes.
kids, that whatever your parents are saying, they have gained it through experience of 30, 40 years.
Yes.
So please understand, if your parents are, shouting at you, they are some or the other way frustrated.
Yeah.
Right? They don't like the way you are working. So this has to be both ways.
Yeah, true.
As a parent, you should trust your kids, and as a kid, you should obey your
Obey your
parents. So that
parents.
is something which is missing.
Missing. True.
To the teachers, I would say that be a teacher first of all, right? Understand, just don't land up into this profession because it's a 9 to 5 job. There are number of chuttis and everything. No, please don't come to this job if you are 9 to 5er, and whatever you are doing it for the career of the students.
Yes.
Your 1 hour session can land up to a tremendous change into your kids life. And believe me, I have couple of students who are in Europe, US. Whenever they come down to India, they make it a point that they call me. They call me. I have few students who come and they try to meet me also. That's why we want to meet you. So that is the kind of relationship which we have built. So be a friend to your teachers, to your students. Students are like what I think, that's my theory. I don't know how true or incorrect I am. Students are like rubber bands, right? You can stretch them to an extent. If you pull it apart from that extent, either it will break from this side or this side, and both ways chot lagegi.
True.
So just don't pull them too much. Just pull them a little bit, so that your ego is also a little bit met. And students also understand that there is somebody who can pull you whenever it's needed. So that's my suggestion to these students. And one major suggestion to the student is, please listen to your teachers. Don't be too much dependent upon the technologies.
True.
I know that you are you are a born geek. You have been born with this technology, but this technology will not last forever.
True.
The technology ka sabse bada benefit, it changes like this.
Yes.
So you never know that whatever you have learned, you might have to unlearn the very next moment. So please don't be dependent upon the technology. Make books your best friend. Books will never go out of the syllabus. Whatever is written in the books, it always there. Whatever you are seeing as a content on internet, that has been taken from the books.
Books only. True.
Yeah, so that's my suggestion to these students.
Okay, sir. That was lovely talking to
Same
you,
here,
sir.
Sakshi.
Thank you so much for taking
My
out your
pleasure.
time and being here. We are glad. We are really thankful to you.
My pleasure.
And yeah, thank you
My
so
pleasure.
much, sir.
Thank you so much, and
Thank
best
you so
wishes
much. Thank you
for your podcast.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good day.